Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Michi, and today we're going to go over some scents that make me feel fresh, clean, ways to beat the heat. Most of these fragrances are going to have musk in them. Almost all of them have musk in them, white musk, and some sort of citrus, whether it be bergamot or lemon or mandarin. But not all of them are citrus fragrances, but all of them are fresh, clean fragrances that you want to wear when it's humid and hot and sticky and you want to feel clean, fresh out of the shower, just smelling good, feeling good. And so if that sounds good to you, then just hang out, keep on watching. So first up we have Byredo Gypsy Water. Now, a lot of people know about this fragrance, but for those that don't, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is like the definition of fresh, musk, citrus, clean, just makes you feel absolutely beautiful, especially in this high heat. And yes, immediately, yes. Now, first off, you get that fresh bergamot note, and there's actually juniper, I believe, and pine needles in here, but it does not come off as pine salt, pine anything. It's just fresh and clean, and mainly it's musky bergamot, but in a way that's light, airy, and clean. So it's not something heavy, it's not syrupy, it's not, it's not going to weigh you down when it's 100 degrees out and 70% humidity. It's just clean. It's like the epitome of clean girl aesthetic, fresh girl aesthetic. The notes in Gypsy Water are juniper, lemon, bergamot, pepper, pine needles, incense, orris, vanilla, sandalwood, and amber. A lot of the fragrances that you're going to hear about in this video are going to include notes of bergamot or lemon, some sort of citrus, and white musk and wood notes. Those seem to kind of be in the pyramid of a lot of these fragrances that I consider, in my opinion, fresh, clean, soapy, clean girl aesthetic kind of fragrances. And in this one, it's just the perfect blend of white musk, bergamot, and clean white woods. There's an incense note in here, but I don't necessarily pick that up. Usually to me, incense fragrances come off a bit more kind of cold weather, a little more smoky, warmer. And this one to me is just very like clear blue skies, and the sun is shining, and it is hot, and you are just smelling so clean, put together, pressed white colored shirt, beautiful white sundress, just giving off those kind of vibes. And this is 100% unisex and completely work appropriate. I know that everyone doesn't have the same work situation, but I have been in the medical field for over 20 years now. And I would absolutely wear this to work, no problem, in an office environment. Even working at the hospital, if you do not overspray this fragrance, I don't see that it could be a problem, because it just gives that fresh, clean vibe. And so it doesn't smell overly perfumey. It doesn't smell overly fragrant. It is something that you could get away with, spraying lightly and having it just be a skin scent, or overspraying and still being in an office environment where it's not too much. But it's beautiful. It is the epitome of clean girl aesthetic. Now we have Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone. And this fragrance is pretty well known. And I will say It is a Jo Malone fragrance, so this is not a super long lasting fragrance. This is definitely something that I have to reapply about 4 hours in. What I used to do is I would wear this to work, and again, I work in a healthcare environment, and never had anyone complain over this scent because it is extremely light and airy and citrusy and musky and clean, fresh vibes. So people would think that this was probably either just a cream you were wearing or maybe even soap or just that your clothes are freshly pressed. This again is going to be that musk, white musk and a little bit of clean woods. And so what I would do is I would wear this and then I'd come home on my lunch break and I would reapply. And then I would, you know, once I got home that night, I would take my scrubs off and switch to a nighttime scent. And it never interacted or, you know, had any effect on my nighttime scent because by the time I had come home from work, it had pretty much worn off. So this is a very light wearing fragrance and not a huge long lasting fragrance, but it smells so clean, so fresh, like the perfect white musk and clean woods in here. The notes are sea salt, sage, grapefruit, ambrette, and seaweed. And I don't smell a seaweed note in here. It doesn't smell like super marine to me. It doesn't smell fishy. It doesn't smell like the ocean. To be honest with you, it just smells like clean, like bergamot, white musk, ambrette, cleanliness. And it's really a beautiful fragrance. I wish it did last longer, but I don't mind reapplying it because when I decide to wear this fragrance, I already know what I'm putting on. I know that I'm only going to get a few hours out of it. I know I'm going to have to reapply, but it is just that beautiful to me that I don't care. I don't care that I have to reapply because I love the way it smells. This is a scent that I would love to have my home smell like. I would love to have, you know, everything in my environment smell like this. I would love it in a candle, a room spray, linen spray, laundry detergent. It's just that fresh and just makes me feel so clean, straight out of the shower, just clean girl aesthetic, fresh. And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. If you have never smelled that, you can go into any department store and smell the wood sage and sea salt from the Jo Malone line. And you can also find it online at some discounters for an excellent price. And also the Gypsy water that I spoke about before, you can also go into any department store and smell that as well. So they're accessible fragrances and they're fresh, they're clean, and you know, they're beautiful musks. Coming up next is Initio's Musk Therapy. This fragrance is one of my favorite musk fragrances in my collection. And everything that I'm going to show you today is 100% unisex. It smells great on me. It smells great on my husband. And they are just fantastic fragrances. I really, really love the house of Initio. I think it's 11 or 12 of them. And Musk Therapy is the perfect freshie, the perfect white musk, fresh, clean scent. And this is going to be completely different in longevity than the first one I was talking about, which is wood sage and sea salt. This lasts all day, no problem. All day. If you overspray this, you might even overdo it because this is a potent fragrance, but you can also wear just a few sprays or spray a couple and walk into it to get just that clean, very airy skin scent type of scent. But this fragrance holds on to clothes so well. I have been doing laundry at the end of the week and pulled scrubs out of the laundry hamper and smelled this on them for sure. Like clear as day, oh, that's musk therapy. And on my husband, this actually comes off a bit more citrusy than it does on me. And I think it smells great on both of us. And it gives that clean, white musk, fresh, just like all of these fragrances are going to give this vibe of clean, fresh, white woods, bergamot, citruses, and just that out of shower smell. But this one lasts all day. You do not have to worry about having to reapply musk therapy. The notes in musk therapy are white musk, bergamot, black currant, mandarin, magnolia, white sandalwood, and hedione. And what I did notice when I made this list of fragrances, hedione pops up a lot in these fragrances that I feel are fresh and clean. So you'll see that note again in a few more fragrances. But it's such a great fragrance, and I know it is really well loved, really well liked in the community, and it's for good reason. This is at the very top of my list of white musk and clean fragrances. Musk therapy is just right up there at the top because of the longevity and just the way it smells and the way it makes me feel. It is hot heat approved, humid approved, and even workplace approved. It's so multifaceted, and it is a staple in my collection in the summer. So I'm going to bring you something that you can get at Sephora. This is it's a niche fragrance because it's by the house of Phlur, and Phlur is not, a clothing designer or shoes designer or handbags. They just do scents, fragrances. So this is Father Figure from Phlur. I picked this up at Sephora, and again, such a perfect, clean, white wood scent. It 100% unisex. This does not lean masculine or feminine. Beautiful, right in the middle. And you guys, this fragrance has, again, those white wood, musk, fresh, straight out of the shower type of vibes. And there's a fig note in here that comes off to me like a bit of Palo Santo a bit. And white woods, fresh, clean. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's perfect for high heat. The notes in here are fig, water lily, cassis, orris root, iris, jasmine, musk, sandalwood, vanilla, and patchouli leaf. And this is not a patchouli fragrance. It's probably only included in there for some base to it and to give it a little more strength. But this doesn't smell like patchouli to me. To me, this smells like just a musky fig, sandalwood, almost Palo Santo vibe. And it's just fresh, high heat approved, humidity approved, office space approved. I easily have worn this one to work without any issues. And it's another one that just gives you that, like, you want your house to smell like this. You want your environment to smell like this. It's just so fresh and clean. And I really love that about it. And it's not too bad of a price point either. And again, accessible. You don't need to go into a niche perfumery for this. You can go right into Sephora and pick it up. Fairly priced. You can also pick up just travel sizes of them, which is how I started with Phlur. I picked up 3 10 ml travel sprays of apricot, tangerine boy, and father figure. And then 2 of them ended up being full bottle purchases for me. and I don't regret it at all. I really do recommend these fragrances from Phlur. There's only the Father Figure and Tangerine Boy and the Apricot one that I like from the line, but I do recommend these for clean. This one for Father Figure for clean, fresh, humidity-proof, summer-proof fragrances that aren't going to bother anyone. They're not going to become cloying and heavy and a nuisance to people around you, because this is something where they may think it's just a cream on your skin or fresh out of the shower type of smell. And so I couldn't imagine anyone really complaining about this scent because it's just perfect for hot weather. For my next one, this is Valaya from Parfums de Marly. And Valaya is a beast. She's a beast. So if you're going to wear her, I would not overspray because she is long lasting, gives sillage, and could absolutely be office safe, work safe, high heat safe. I just wouldn't overspray her. But let me tell you, this is Musk Therapy and Valaya are two of my most favorite musky, clean, woody scents in this category. They are top of the top for me. And boy, do I love the way this smells. Valaya just, it's something else. There's something about this fragrance that puts her above some of the rest in this category. And this is another one where I'm doing laundry at the end of the week and I pull scrubs out of the laundry hamper and I'm like, it's Valaya. You can smell Valaya. She sticks onto clothes. I have put on jackets 2 weeks later and still smelled Valaya on there, which is not common for a fresh fragrance. For Freshies, out of the shower, clean girl aesthetic fragrances, it's not common for them to last 10 days on clothes. But this right here, Valaya, she will do that. There is an Akigala wood note in here, which gives a little bit of a peppered woods note to it. That's kind of the way that Akigala wood comes off to me. And I really like this note in fragrances. Some of my favorite fragrances happen to have Akigala wood in them. But this is, again, just like all the rest, bergamot, white musk, clean woods, and just fresh, beautiful fragrance. The notes in Valaya are aldehydes, white peach, bergamot, mandarin orange, orange blossom, petalia, vetiver, lily of the valley, mahonia, musk, ambroxan, akigala wood, vanilla, and it's perfection. If you have not gotten your nose on Valaya, what are you waiting for? Just go into a Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus or, a major department store and just ask to smell it. Because this is perfection to me. This is top of the list, right there with Musk Therapy. Beautiful fragrance and just makes me feel so clean, straight out of the shower, clean skin. And she is hot weather proof. Believe me, she will last. She will not get just eaten up by the humidity and the heat, because some fragrances do not do well in high heat. Valaya performs magnificently. I really love Valaya. This next one, I don't think I've ever heard anyone on YouTube talk about this fragrance, but I fell in love with it the second that I smelled it, and I knew I needed a full bottle, and that is Montale's Amber Musk. And the fragrance, again, it's perfect, clean woody, white musks, fresh fragrance. Now, there are a note, it says there's an amber note in here, and usually amber comes off pretty warm to me, and I would not consider this an ambery fragrance. I would consider this a white musk clean wood fragrance. And it smells beautiful. It smells clean, fresh girl aesthetic, clean girl aesthetic. Usually Montales are pretty beast mode of fragrances, and in my opinion, this one is one that I think it lasts about 5 hours, and then I feel like I need to reapply. But it is stunning. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. And if you like the clean girl aesthetic, fresh scents, white musk scents, bergamot scents, things like that, I think you would absolutely love this fragrance. 100% unisex. I think this would smell good on man, woman, anyone. And it's beautiful. It is really beautiful. The notes are white musk, ambergris, amber, powdery notes, and cedar. To me, though, this is clean, white musks, and cedar. I mean, it's really just, I don't smell a huge ambery note, like I said before. What I do smell is just cleanliness and freshness, and I think that this would perform excellent in humidity, high heat. You could wear this on a 110-degree day and not choke yourself out, not feel cloying, not feel too heavy. There isn't, with all of these fragrances, there is not a super sweet note or anything that could become cloying or, you know, kind of weigh you down. These are all airy, fresh, light scents that just really make you feel fresh, clean out of the shower. That's the best way to describe this category. And I love this category of fragrances, especially for the summer. I don't tend to wear these sort of fragrances in the winter because you guys will see when I start making my fall and winter lists that in the winter I like pretty heavy fragrances. I like cinnamons and caramels and apple pie vibes and, you know, pecan vibes, praline. I like oud vibes and leather vibes and coffee vibes. And so I usually save this category for spring and summer. And because I think they perform so amazing in the high heat. And when it's colder like that, I need more of an oomph to my fragrance. But I have worn some of these in the fall and they have performed. But I think some of them in this category are going to perform the best during high heat during summer, for sure. Now we have Maison Francis Kurkdjian Petit Matin. And this fragrance is citrusy, fresh woods. This one has a bit of a stronger citrus note to it than the other ones that I have talked about. Because immediately when you smell this, you get a bit of like a lemon tree almost, like lemon blossom, orange blossom, bergamot, lemon citruses. But as those die down a bit, what's left is a clean bergamot, white musk, white woods sort of fragrance. And this again is one that gives about 5 hours on me. But I think again, it is office safe, work safe, high heat safe, humidity safe. And again, it's fresh, it's clean. This one has a little bit of a green note to it as well. But to me, it is just the definition of summer. This is summer in a bottle to me. On the hottest, most humid days is when I would wear these type of fragrances. And this one just, it doesn't disappoint. The notes in Petit Matin are lemon, orange blossom, musk, lavender, ambroxan, and hawthorn. And the ambroxan is just giving that kind of musky oomph sillage to this fragrance. And it's beautiful. It is really beautiful. And it's this one's a little bit less soapy, a little less fresh out of the shower because the citrus notes are a little bit more elevated in this fragrance. So It's giving off more citrus cleanly vibes, but not in a lemon kitchen cleaner type. Just fresh, clean vibes without smelling like an actual kitchen cleaner, if you know what I mean. Beautiful fragrance though, 100% unisex. Anyone could wear this, and it's summer perfection. All right, so one of the newer ones to my collection is Chanel Comète. Now, Chanel Comète, I have featured on my channel before when I did my fragrance haul. And this one is stunning, stunning, beautiful. So beautiful. This one has a little more oomph to it than some of the other ones. Like wood sage and sea salt and gypsy water and those kind of fragrances are a little more subdued, in my opinion, a little more airy. This one has some depth to it while still being white musk, clean woods, fresh, cleanliness, and it's so beautiful. There's irisy notes to this as well, and aldehydes, which give off that little bit of a soapy vibe as well. And it's stunning. It is a beautiful fragrance. I do think if you oversprayed this and then went out in 105-degree weather, you could possibly overdo it for yourself. But spraying just the appropriate amount on a high heat, high humidity day, I think it would work out just fine. I've already worn it when it's been 99 here in the LA area, and it performed fantastic. It didn't become cloying, but I also didn't overspray. Sometimes when I spray my fragrances, I may spray 14 times, and this is one that I don't do that with, but maybe I would in the colder months. I don't know, because this fragrance came to me just a few months ago, but so far so good. It's beautiful. The notes in Comète are cherry blossom, aldehydes, iris, heliotrope, and white musk. And it's a perfect blend of fresh, clean, airy vibes. And it does have a little touch of almost sort of sweetness to it, but not in a gourmand way, not in a sickly way. It's just a touch of almost like sweet iris is a kind of the way. Sometimes iris comes off very powdery. Sometimes iris is, like people describe it as lipsticky iris or a buttery orris root. But this to me almost comes off like a little bit of sweetness to the iris. And it's really beautiful. It's a stunning fragrance. And again, accessible. You can go into any major department store and get your nose on this. They come in the 75 ml bottles and then 200 ml bottles. And I have told myself I'm not allowed to buy any more 200 ml bottles of anything in my collection. So I went with the 75 ml. I did get that on Harrods, and I believe it was like $78 cheaper on Harrods than on any of the United States websites. So if you decide you love it, I would suggest getting it from Harrods. That's what I did. So going along the lines of clean, citrusy, fresh, next up we are doing Fragrance du Bois Solstis. Now this fragrance is a beautiful citrus, musky, clean, fresh fragrance. God, the atomizers on Fragrance du Bois bottles, I love the way they mist out. I love it. It's the most perfect spray of just like airy, light beautifulness. I love them. Beautiful. Again, 100% unisex, not leaning one way or the other. I'm getting lemon or bergamot, white musk, and clean woods again. But all of these fragrances do have their differences. They may, give off the same idea or vibes, but every single one of these do smell a bit different to me, hence why they're all in my collection. So I do not think that any of these are redundant in any way. They each have their own personality, and they each are do their own thing. So this one is, I'll read you the notes. It's apple, bergamot, mandarin, pink pepper, neroli, cardamom, pepper, nutmeg, vanilla, vetiver, and sandalwood. And I do pick up the vetiver in here. It gives a little touch of a, sort of like a dried grass note almost. And the sandalwood is very clean white woods in here. And it's beautiful. I will say that if out of all the ones I'm going to mention today, this one I feel might be, oops, I dropped my tester strip, might be the more masculine leaning fragrance of all of them, but I don't think any of them really truly lean one way or another. But out of all of them, this one might be the little bit more on the masculine leaning side. And I think it's because a lot of masculine freshies have apple and bergamot in them. And so it gives off maybe just a little bit of a cologne vibe. But this one definitely can be pulled off by anyone. And again, it is office safe, work safe, high heat safe, humidity safe, all of the things. Fresh, clean, airy, and just perfect for summer, honestly. Next up, my baby, my love. This is Tilia by Marc-Antoine Barrois. I have featured this on my channel before because I featured it in a haul. I also featured it in just fragrances I can't get enough of. I'm obsessed. I fell in love with that first sniff. Now this one is the one I would say is closest to a clean laundry smell. It has linden blossom and I think broom. And so it does give a little bit of a yellow flower. Linden blossom is lime blossom, so that's actually a white flower, but it gives off a little bit of yellow flower, almost like mimosa or something like that. And it's beautiful. It's white musks, clean woods, and this is the closest thing to fresh, clean laundry or your sheets drying in the sun on a hanging wire. It just so fresh, so clean, so stunning, beautiful. The longevity on this is excellent. And I have worn this in high heat. I have worn this in humid weather, and she has performed. She stays on. She doesn't go anywhere. And I am in love with this fragrance. This has really been a top for me ever since I got it. And I've said in other videos, I wish I did buy the 100 ml bottle. And, I was trying to be good and told myself, you don't need 100 ml, but I regret it so much. So when this baby is done, I will be upgrading to a 100 ml bottle. But I love her. I love her. Get your nose on Tilia. Stunning, beautiful, fresh, clean, beautiful. I'm addicted to her. Next up, we have Ex Nihilo's Iris Porcelana. Now, this one has also been featured on my channel before. What a beautiful atomizer on that. Beautiful. Let me just tell you, this is all the clean vibes, all the fresh vibes. This smells like the most expensive, luxurious white soap. The iris in here is perfection. It's not overly powdery. It's not, it's perfection. This is probably the most perfect iris I have in my collection. Iris mainly in the fragrance. And so clean, so fresh, so beautiful. The notes in Iris Porcelana are violet leaf, iris, rose, musk, sandalwood, and cedar. I will say I don't necessarily smell rose in here. What I smell is iris, white musk, and clean woods. And it's beautiful. And it lends to a little bit of powderiness, but it's not overly powdery. It's not, baby powder or lipsticky iris. It's just the perfect amount of cleanliness, clean, beautiful iris. And the musk in here gives it some of that, that push and that sillage. And again, you could wear this to work. You could wear this in the high heat, the humidity, all that stuff. No problem. It is a stunning fragrance, and it is, I'm so happy to have added this into my collection this year. Beautiful. If you have never smelled that one, I do suggest getting a sample of it. And you can find it for a pretty good price nowadays online if you just look it up. So I really do love this fragrance. I didn't used to be a huge iris fan. It hasn't been, it's probably been like a year now that I have just started to come around to iris notes. And this one to me is perfection. This is the most perfect iris fragrance I've ever smelled. Coming up next, we have Dries van Noten. This is Santal Greenery. And this fragrance has the most beautiful citrus, fig, clean woods, musk ever. I mean, it is so beautiful. In the beginning, you get fig, and it's not too green, grapefruit, sandalwood, and musk. That's the gist of this fragrance. But this fragrance to me is summer perfection, humidity perfection. It is giving off almost, if you've ever smelled Palo Santo, it almost gives off Palo Santo vibes. And to me, sometimes fig can come off as a little bit of like natural coconut, the way that an actual coconut smells, not a manufactured type of, like a real coconut. If you were to have one cut in half and just smell it, sometimes I get those vibes, and Palo Santo kind of gives me those vibes too. So this fragrance smells like, it smells like being in a rainforest. It smells like you're in a humid jungle, and you can smell the woods. It's not jungle like really earthy, but like you can smell the woods, you can smell the trees around you, the greenery around you, without it being too green, without it being too stemmy. It's just very clean. And the fig is perfection in here. I do not like when a fig fragrance is too green. And with a name like Santal Greenery, you might think that the fig is coming off really green, but it's not. It's not. It is such a beautiful fragrance, and the first time I smelled it, it just made me envision being in a rainforest and the humidity that gets trapped in the canopy of the rainforest. And it's stunning. You really should get your nose on this. Dries van Noten has discovery sets you can order if you don't have access to them I know they're sold in Saks Fifth Avenue. And for me, fortunately, I have a Dries van Noten, the actual boutique here in Los Angeles. That's where I went to smell all of the fragrances. But I know that some Saks have this line. And you can also just go online and order a discovery set. But this is completely work safe, completely high heat safe. It's almost like it was made for the summer and for humidity and for heat and warm skin. It's beautiful. Fresh, clean, musky, stunning. And it's a pretty good performer as well. I have had not you know, some of them have talked about I have to re-up at 4 or 5 hours. I don't feel that way about this fragrance. It is still pretty new to my collection, so I've only worn it maybe 4 or 5 times, but I didn't feel that it escaped me. I didn't feel that it, you know, disappeared. The longevity was poor. But what I do think is that it is so fresh, so clean, unisex. Anyone can pull this off, and it is a beautiful fragrance. Next up, we've got Andrea Maack Ceramic. This fragrance is so beautiful, so clean, so perfect for this category. It just really, it's perfection for high heat, and the atomizer on these ones is good too. I really like Andrea Maack, and I have several from her line. Again, we're talking clean. It smells like an expensive soap. It smells like musk and clean woods. This, however, does have some floral elements to it. I think it's freesia and maybe magnolia. But it's not overly floral. It still smells like more of a clean soap, fresh out of the shower vibes. This one is one that I do feel like at the 5-hour mark, I need to reapply. I usually carry a decant of it in my purse, and I just re-up because it is such an airy, more of a skin scent sort of fragrance. But if you over apply this, I don't feel like it's strictly a skin scent because I do get good sillage and I get compliments on this when I wear it. But it's just a perfect high heat fragrance, but I also feel like it's very springtime as well. And again, completely different than everything else I'm mentioning in this lineup. They all have their own personality, and they all have their own facets on the way that they present with their notes. Ceramics has freesia, green leaves, apples, white flowers, lily of the valley, musk, and amber. I do not feel that this fragrance is a super ambery fragrance. It's way more on the clean side, soapy vibe, fresh, airy side. Completely unisex and stunning. It's a very clean fragrance. It's very white sheets, crisp linen, very straight out of the shower cleanliness. And it does amazing in the humidity. Los Angeles is having a really humid summer, actually, which is kind of crazy because normally it's very dry here, and where I live, there's usually fires that happen during the summer because, you know, all the dried out plants and the hills, they're brown, and it's not been that way, though, this summer. It's actually been quite humid. And so all of these fragrances have been a blessing to me because they have done great in the, you know, 75% humidity on 90-degree days. So stunning, beautiful, makes me feel so fresh and clean. And if you want to pick up samples, you can actually pick up where I originally smelled it and got samples from was from Scent Room LA. And they carry the entire line. So I actually picked up about 7 samples from them and then ended up purchasing 4 full bottles from Andrea Maack's website. She runs codes all the time, so you can get 20% off, and that's what I did. Every time she had like spring 20, and then she had summer 20, and you can get 20% off of her fragrances. And at that, it's no problem. I'm like, put it in the bag. Let's buy another one. So if you want to smell it, get a sample and let me know what you think. Here's one I do not hear talked about a lot. I don't know if I've ever heard it talked about on YouTube. This is Courrèges Leu de Liesse. Or I mean, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Leu de Liesse. Liesse. It'll be on the screen for you and how it's spelled. I'm not good at other languages. But what I do know is fragrance. And this smells clean. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And the bottles are so cute. This is the 50 ml bottle. And they do come in 100 ml bottles. And I picked this up at Scent Bar, West Hollywood, or Lucky Scent. This has a macadamia note. And it's the only fragrance in my collection that has a macadamia note. And it just comes off as white musk, slightly nutty, clean, beautiful. Not overpowering, not cloying. It works perfect in the high heat. It works perfect in the humidity. I know I'm repeating myself with all of these fragrances, but this is what the category is. You know, it's just high heat, hot performers that do well to make you feel fresh out of the shower, clean. It smells like an expensive body cream, something luxurious that you've put on your body, and in the best way possible. This is the first fragrance I've ever had from this brand, and it definitely won't be the last. I really enjoy this fragrance. I do say that at the 4 or 5 hour mark, it is something that I do feel like I need to reapply, but I'm okay with that. And she's beautiful. The notes of this are macadamia, aldehydes, neroli, citruses, heliotrope, iris, jasmine, ambroxan, and white musk. Beautiful. The iris lends a little bit of a powdery facet, just a slight powdery facet. And it's hard, but it's almost like the way that macadamia nuts taste if they were unsalted. Is that nuttiness vibe that I'm getting here, but not in an overly gourmand way, and definitely not in a heavy, cloying way. Again, not a super sweet fragrance. It's just, it smells like the most luxurious, expensive body cream that you've ever put on your body. And it's just beautiful, clean, fresh, and I love her. Next up, we have Wilhelm's Dear Polly. And this one is a fresh citrus tea scent with musks, and I love this fragrance. I got her in a 50 ml because, again, I was on this journey of you don't need 100 mls, and this is one that I'm halfway through with, and as soon as I finish, I think I will repurchase in a 100 ml bottle. This is the perfect citrus black tea musky clean scent to me. It's got a little touch of sweetness to it, but not overly so. It's a very subtle but airy sweetness to it. Beautiful fragrance. Beautiful. The bergamot comes off as very fresh. The citruses come off very fresh. Oh, such a beautiful fragrance. Again, accessible. You can go into almost any department store and ask to smell Dear Polly. And I really think if you like citrus fragrances, tea fragrances, fresh fragrances, I think you would not be disappointed with this. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. The notes of Dear Polly are bergamot, apple, black tea, black amber, musk, and oak moss. And there are no woody notes in this, but I still get that sense of like clean woods, clean, like either white sandalwood or something like that. And the oak moss doesn't come off as earthy or overly green. The main star of the show is the bergamot black tea musk. And it's beautiful and 100% different than the fragrances I've already mentioned. Out of all of them, this one might be the sweetest, but it's not overtly sweet. It's just a hint of some sweetness. as if maybe the bergamot was slightly candied in a way, but not in a cloying way, not in a syrupy way. It's not overtly sweet, but there is a sweetness to it. Again, unisex, 100%. And if you like tea fragrances and white musk fragrances and fresh, you would love this fragrance. It does not disappoint. It does great in the high heat, the hot, humid weather. It does fantastic. It is something that I think gives about 5 hours of wear, and then I feel like I need to reapply. And I know that when I put it on. I knew that when I bought it, and I'm okay with that. There are just some fragrances that don't need to be beast mode, and this is one of them. I love everything about it. I wouldn't change a thing about this fragrance. So you made it to the end of my Freshie, airy, musky, clean girl aesthetic, fresh girl aesthetic fragrance list. And I am so glad that you clicked on my thumbnail. I appreciate you guys more than you know. And if you could like, comment, subscribe, all the good things, I would much appreciate it. Thank you so much for continuing to watch my videos. Thank you for clicking on my thumbnails. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.